We want to get straight to breaking news tonight. Police searching for a gunman on a bicycle who left his victim with multiple gunshot wounds. This on Schley Avenue near South Olive and Pine Street on the city's southeast side. Officers say that shooting happened as the victim was getting into his car. The victim in the hospital tonight, and that gunman remains on the run. Now to the very latest on the pandemic. 3 big takeaways from tonight's COVID-19 update. Our positivity rate locally now dropping by about 3% this week. But Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf noted that more people are being tested. Hospitalizations also dropping for the first time in weeks. Still, more than 1,400 people remain hospitalized tonight because of COVID-19. 24 of them children, pediatric patients. While more nurses have been brought in to help, Mayor Ron Nierenberg says that more help is needed. He survived, but his 2 close friends did not. Tonight we hear from a victim in a fatal triple shooting for the first time since he was shot in the face. The suspect, arrested after Bexar County Sheriff's deputies say that he fled to Las Vegas after that shooting. The night team's Japhanie Gray with a survivor's near-death experience. And we do want to warn you, some images may be disturbing to view.
Wednesday night, August 4th, 28-year-old Joe Book's life changed forever.
I stared at him in the face while he pulled the trigger on me.
Bexar County Sheriff's deputies say a domestic dispute escalated to a fatal triple shooting near Loop 1604 and Roddy Road. The man accused in this crime, Fernando Rojas. Book says he and his close friends, Serena Bain and Jonathan Fan, were bystanders when Rojas, who they all knew, began shooting. Shot twice in the head, Book was the first one down. Book says he doesn't know why Rojas opened fire, only that he was upset about something.
What went through my mind is I'm dead, because I seen it in his eyes.
Bain and Fan were hit in the gunfire as well. Both passed away.
It was a hard thing realizing that I was supposed to be in the same spot as well. I feel love for the whole family that were involved.
After being airlifted and spending several days in the hospital, Book miraculously survived.
The Lord definitely has a part to play in it.
This picture, too graphic to fully show, is of Book before undergoing reconstructive surgery on his face.
And they had to peel the top off and build it all up in steel. It shattered my entire face.
Book is now deaf in one ear and only has 43% of his vision. It's also difficult for him to breathe and eat, but he says the one thing he misses the most.
My beard was a gladiator style, we'll call it a Viking level, and I definitely look forward to getting it back.
Even though he now suffers from PTSD,
I'm feeling a bullet go through my head every day.
He hopes to live his life to the fullest in honor of both Bain and Fan. As for Rojas, he had this to say.
And if I get to see you again, whether it's at your sentencing, at your execution, I'm going to smile at you.
Book says he still has a few more surgeries to go through. His vision is expected to improve, but his hearing unknown at this time. Rojas remains here in the Bexar County Jail for 2 counts of felony murder. Live at the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Japhanie. A murder case leading to an arrest 2 years later. The suspect, a security guard, accused of killing his wife, Cecilia Huertas Gallegos. An affidavit revealing what happened in the days before that murder. That affidavit marks the beginning of this case as June 22nd, 2019. Police say Reyes Gallegos went to his wife's work and confronted one of her co-workers, even punching that man in the face. Investigators say Cecilia Gallegos tried to end the relationship with her husband that day, but Reyes Gallegos responded by pulling a gun. Several more disturbances were reported to police, including another visit Gallegos made to his wife's place of work. On July 7th, 2019, co-workers said she left to check on her children and was never seen again. Today, Reyes Gallegos claimed police had the wrong man.
I'm innocent.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
They got you in custody.
Investigators say surveillance cameras placed Cecilia Huertas Gallegos at her home on Southwick on July 7th, 2019. The next morning, officers say that surveillance cameras were shut off for more than an hour before Reyes Gallegos is seen going to his truck and leaving. Police say he returned with 2 shovels, contractor duty trash bags, a chainsaw, and cleaning supplies. Still no word on where Cecilia Huertas Gallegos is tonight. New tonight, a family of 11 is without a home after a fire. Flames quickly consumed their west side home on Glider Avenue. The Night Team's Patty Santos reports investigators are now sifting through the ashes to find out what caused it.
Hope is keeping Alan Morrison standing
I can't say that I've ever had a feeling like it before.
in one piece
Wow, I don't know how to describe it.
as he watches his home of 20 years on the corner of Glider and Gunsmoke Drive burn.
With the good Lord at our back, we'll figure it out. He's in control. It's his plan.
It started with a panic call from his wife minutes ago.
I got a text and then a call from my wife saying she needed me at home. The house was on fire.
Luckily, everyone inside made it out safely, except for family pets.
You could see it from a pretty good distance in responding to this fire. It was putting out a lot of smoke.
San Antonio firefighters say it's too soon to say what sparked the fire.
Get a pretty good idea of where it started, at least in what area, so that it is more to a particular corner of the house.
And the family of 11 is trying to figure out what to do next. Morrison says, unfortunately, he did not have homeowner's insurance and he was in the process of possibly selling that house, but that plan will not have to pivot. Myra?
Patty, thank you. A memorial now another step closer to becoming a reality. A goal to raise $5,000 was reached in hopes of honoring 7-year-old Jennifer Sue Delgado. She was killed in a stabbing that happened at a laundromat 33 years ago. Since her death, Christopher Palmer, a former classmate, has been keeping her name alive and raising awareness about her unsolved case. He hopes to use the money to designate part of a road as Jennifer Sue Delgado Memorial Way. That road is at the corner of West Rock and West Oak Roads. Palmer says thanks to the community and a generous donor from Bernie, he reached his $5,000 goal today, which would have been Jennifer's 42nd birthday. Now he plans to start the application process with the city.
Today we topped out at 97 degrees. That's 2 degrees above average, the record high being 103 set back in 2010. So far this year, no 100-degree days, at least not yet. The hottest we've been is 98, and we hit that several times. But to put in perspective, by this time last year, we had 29 100-degree days and a grand total of 36. 100-degree days last year. So big difference already. You look at the forecast for tomorrow, well into the 90s for most of us, back to the century mark farther west and southwest of San Antonio, Cotulla, Laredo, especially Del Rio as well. But you get into Leon Springs 95, Converse 96, and Lackland area about 97 for the high tomorrow. More of the same tomorrow, but we do have some rain chances on the way, and we are tracking the tropics. We're going to talk about all of that coming right up.
Thanks, Adam. Identifying and treating trauma. Those steps are crucial for a patient to succeed in life and in their workplace. The Ecumenical Center knows the benefits of treating trauma. The nonprofit has been doing that work for decades now. And soon it will be offering a course on trauma-informed care. It's a tool not only healthcare organizations can use, but also businesses to recognize and reduce trauma among its staff. Music and art fill the walls of the Ecumenical Center, a place meant to bring comfort to those trying to work through past traumas.
It helped me through a lot. I started coming here about a year ago.
Aliana Alvarez confronted the negativity in her life with the help of her counselor.
Tracy's really helped me a lot. Without her, I feel like I wouldn't be in the state of mind that I am now.
While those challenges can be overcome, there can be triggers. That's where a course in trauma-informed care comes in. The Ecumenical Center teaching a set of standards to help organizations create a safe environment for its employees and customers or patients.
Instead of asking the question, what's wrong with you? We are trained to ask the question, what has happened? What experiences have you had?
Amid this pandemic, Methodist Healthcare Ministries now the first to complete the course, learning the ripple effects trauma can have on people.
Their health is affected. There's behavioral health issues like depression, and they act out. If they've had childhood trauma, that's gone undetected.
But the course is not just for healthcare professionals.
And I would put that out there for businesses also. They can improve the well-being of their workforce and their culture by becoming trauma-informed.
And Methodist Healthcare Ministries is set to receive its Level 1 Trauma-Informed Care certification tomorrow. Dozens more organizations are now on the waiting list to take that course. Still ahead here on the Nightbeat, the CDC looking into a Salmonella outbreak across several states, including Texas. What investigators believe is the cause of that outbreak coming up. And we are 1 week away before the withdrawal from Afghanistan comes to a close. President Joe Biden pushing to meet the deadline, but also discussing possible backup plans. We hear from the president next on the Nightbeat. President Joe Biden is defending his deadline to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan 1 week from today. In a speech from the White House, the president insisted evacuations are ramping up, but added that he has asked the Pentagon for a contingency plan in case that deadline is missed. ABC's Elizabeth Schultze with the latest from Washington.
Facing pressure to extend the presence of U.S. troops in Afghanistan, President Biden is sticking with his August 31st withdrawal deadline.
We are currently on a pace to finish by August the 31st. The sooner we can finish, the better.
The president says more than 70,000 people have been evacuated from Afghanistan since August 14th. But tens of thousands of Afghans, many who helped the U.S., are still trying to leave. Biden added he's asked the Pentagon and State Departments for contingency plans to adjust the timetable.
The completion by August 31st depends upon the Taliban continuing to cooperate and allow access to the airport for those who were transporting out and no disruptions to our operations.
The Taliban calls August 31st a red line and now says it will block Afghans from leaving the country at the airport.
We remain committed to getting any and all Americans that want to leave to get them out.
A source confirmed to ABC News the president dispatched his CIA director William Burns to Kabul for secret talks with the Taliban Monday. Biden met Tuesday with top G7 allies who are urging him to extend the timeline for evacuations.
President Biden is also facing mounting criticism from lawmakers here in Washington over his Afghanistan exit strategy. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is calling for that August 31st withdrawal deadline to be extended. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Charcuterie boards, they've become more popular recently, and if that's something you're into, you're going to want to listen to this. The CDC is investigating 2 outbreaks of Salmonella across 17 states, including here in Texas. The CDC says there was a link to Italian-style meats like salami, prosciutto, and other meats found in antipasto or charcuterie assortments. So far, there have been 36 reports of sickness, 12 hospitalizations. The CDC is still trying to determine which brands are affected. Take a look outside with live cam. Sky 12 flying high above the city tonight. Beautiful picture out there, 86 degrees. And is this the time of day we get the cool down? This is it, right? This is the few moments.
A few moments, it starts cooling off, and then by sunrise, boom, everything rises again. We'll probably drop another 8 to 10 degrees from where we are now to where we'll be early tomorrow morning. And then from our high temperatures, we'll actually be trimming off or shaving a few degrees from those afternoon highs. In just a few days, that's going to start. And then we also get into a pattern of pretty much daily pop-up afternoon showers. Don't get your hopes too high because they'll be isolated, but it is a shift in our pattern, and we're watching the tropics, particularly an area in the Caribbean that could emerge into the Gulf by Sunday. So let's talk about it all. Let's start with the heat, then we'll get to everything else. You look at the state, not bad for August. Amarillo, Del Rio, Laredo, Cotulla, 100 degrees, but everybody else pretty much just into the 90s for highs. Kerrville topped out at 94. 99, meanwhile, Pleasanton, 96 for the high in New Braunfels. Right now, 86 degrees, but very humid. That dew point of 73 makes it feel like 93 degrees when you factor in that mugginess. And you look at air temperatures and lower 80s to near 80 in the hill country. Comfort, Tarpley both at 80. Canyon Lake, though, 86. Divine now at 84 in Rio Medina, currently 81. Still 90 degrees, though, in the typically warmer spots. You go west to the Rio Grande, Del Rio, 93, Cotulla at 90, and Carrizo Springs currently at 88. So tomorrow, just like today, 97 the high in and around San Antonio and most of Bexar County. But then we fall off just a little bit. We get rid of a few degrees and we'll be anywhere from about 94 to 96 for Thursday through the upcoming weekend. That's with a shift in our weather pattern. An overall shift will give us some of those afternoon pop-up showers. But currently we still have the big blue H upper level high planted nearly overhead. And so all the action is on the edges of it, which is up in the Northland. And they got some much needed rainfall in the northern portion of the U.S. This upper level high is going to break down in the days ahead. And that's going to help us just to kickstart some of those rogue splash and dash brief showers here and there every afternoon starting Thursday, lasting through the weekend and even into the early part of next week. Next week, though, there is a bit of a wild card that, of course, we're watching closely. And we'll keep you updated here on air and online on KSAT.com and the Weather Authority app and our Hurricane Tracker app. We're watching this very unorganized cluster of rain and a few thunderstorms in the eastern Caribbean. This is likely going to drift westward for the rest of this work week and even into the beginning of the weekend. And there is the likelihood it's going to start to organize a little bit more and potentially become our next tropical cyclone. So maybe a depression, maybe a tropical storm. Outside chance it could become a hurricane. But the key is for us is we have to watch this in the extended forecast as we get into Sunday, Monday time frame. Let's just fast forward a bit. At that point, it could be in the Gulf of Mexico. If that happens, anything is possible. Anything, anywhere in the Gulf of Mexico would be possible. Unfortunately, it's way too early to tell because this system hasn't even formed yet. It's not even organized yet. It's not even a storm yet. So we can't even measure it, which means it's nearly impossible to actually predict what's going to happen by early next week. So anything could happen, including nothing. We'll just keep a close eye on it and, of course, update you accordingly. We may not even have an answer to this until this upcoming weekend. So just stay tuned for the updates there and we'll keep you updated. 77 tomorrow morning, 97 by the afternoon. Sunny day, southeasterly wind at 5 to 15. Another CPS Energy peak demand day. We really stress our grid during the afternoon. So from 2 to 7, try to reduce your power, save the laundry for the morning or later on at night. And there you have it, those isolated rain chances starting Thursday. Just a little bit of activity here and there every afternoon on the radar.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Let's turn to sports now. And Greg, you're getting a better idea tonight of how the pandemic is affecting the Cowboys.
Yes, and in addition to players that have been affected, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones very candid about why he believes players should be vaccinated in the NFL. When we come back, you'll hear from him and a big day at UTSA and their triangle of toughness coming up.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says only 4 or 5 players on his team have yet to be fully vaccinated, and that 100% of the Cowboys staff is. He made those comments during his weekly radio show in Dallas today after the NFL team had to place 3 more players into COVID protocol, including star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. It's after defensive coordinator Dan Quinn and defensive tackle Carlos Watkins had to leave AT&T Stadium Saturday night before kickoff of their preseason game against Houston. Now today, former Dallas Cowboy, now Buffalo Bills receiver Cole Beasley was placed in COVID protocol after coming into contact with a trainer who tested positive. Beasley is very outspoken about being vaccinated and is not a fan of the NFL's COVID protocols. What did Jerry have to say about that?
Everyone has a right to make their own decisions regarding their health and their body. I believe in that completely until your decision as to yourself impacts negatively many others. Then the common good takes over.
And today is the day the UTSA football players found out who will wear single-digit numbers on their uniform in the 2-1-0 triangle of toughness culture established by head coach Jeff Traylor in his first season last year. It is a big deal, more so since the numbers are voted on by the players themselves as a reward for hard work and leadership. For quarterback Frank Harris, he will be wearing 0 again. For quarterback Tariq Woolen, it's back to number 3.
It just means a lot, you know, being able to represent this program, and you just can't take it for granted. So you got to come out there every single day in the summer and the spring and just show that you deserve that number.
When I first got here, I was number 3, and then when the new coaches came, they switched my number to 20. And just this year came and put together a good fall camp. and my teammates all did too. And boom, here I am back in 3, so it feels real good. And just earning it back, it felt even better knowing that you got to earn the number, and I felt like that's what I did.
We did it because we wanted to establish the foundation of what our culture is about, right? The second year we're back and you've got super seniors, so now instead of the natural evolution of people moving on and the younger kids stepping up, now you have a log jam at the top. So I wouldn't say there were any surprises. It's just, I always hurt for the kids that have really made drastic improvements. And there just wasn't room. There's only so many single digits.
The Roadrunners kick off their 2021 season on the road at Illinois, Saturday, September the 4th at 6:30 p.m. The big game and a big game covers on the first night of high school football next. The big game and our big game coverage this week. It's number 1 Brennan against number 2 Reagan at Ferris Stadium on Friday night. But the 2021 high school football season actually kicks off this Thursday with the big game that night. Brandeis against O'Connor, also at Ferris Stadium. When the Broncos kick off their season, they'll do so with a new coach. Charles Bruce has made the move from Wagner to the Northside School District. Welcomes back 16 starters, 8 each on offense and defense, off a team that did not make the playoffs last year after being moved to District 28-6A that contains mostly Northeast School District teams. They're hoping all-around athlete Aiden Inesta Rodriguez can help on both sides of the ball, especially after the 4-year starter was able to come up with 36 tackles and 2 interceptions to go along with his play at wide receiver and special teams as a kick returner. For the O'Connor Panthers, head coach David Molesky is blessed with 10 starters, returning 5 each on offense and defense, of a team that also failed to make the playoffs last season, District 29-6A. Panthers will rely on their defense this year, led by defensive lineman Isaac Dadsey, who had 38 tackles and 4 sacks last season.
Oh, this week is big. We've known these kids growing up for years, and there's a lot of trash talk going back and forth, but at the end of the day, it's fun being able to play this game.
It's really special, we didn't get to play last year because of COVID, so it's another break as it was like 4 years ago now, and it's a big rivalry. A lot of people show out, a lot of people want to see us play, and we're just as excited.
Awesome. Kickoff between Brandeis and O'Connor set for 7 p.m. this Thursday at Ferris Stadium. District play starts tonight in high school volleyball. Clark taking on undefeated Brandeis, Northside Sports Gym. Broncos took the first set. They're rolling in the second. Austin Smoke comes up with a huge block. Brandeis wins the set 25-19. They go up 2-0. But the Cougars answer back. First is Caitlin Whitlock getting the push shot to fall. Clark up by 6. Then on set point, Aaliyah Roberson with the emphatic spike. The Cougars come all the way back to complete the reverse sweep, and they hand Brandeis their first loss, 3-2. The gym is packed up in Bernie. Champion Chargers hosting the Dubrovos Canyon Cougars here. Second set, Bernie champion comes from behind. Marissa Drange with the spike. Crowd all fired up. Charger tie the matchup at set apiece, but the Cougarettes dominate for there. Maya Jones gets the huge block. Canyon wins the next 2 sets, 25-9, 25-11 to win 3-1. We have a reaction from this match and highlights from Taft versus Owen later tonight on our website at KSAT.com. Go there if you missed anything right now.
Thanks, Greg.
You got it.
We'll be right back. Someone in San Antonio hit it big. One lucky winner was able to win the $3 million prize off a scratch-off ticket. It's the second of 4 top-tier prizes to be claimed in the game. Right now on KSAT.com, you can check out where that winning ticket was sold. Meantime, check this out. One pumpkin squashing the competition at the Kentucky State Fair. Organizers received their record-breaking entry, weighing in at 1,663 pounds, beating last year's record by 69 pounds. Dwight Sloan not only won bragging rights, he also won a prize of more than $1,600, $1 for each pound of pumpkin he was able to grow.
All right, tomorrow's going to be more of the same. Well into the 90s, your typical August day. A lot of sunshine, southeasterly breeze at 5 to 15. Elmendorf about 97, Helotes 95, Timberwood Park 95, and Castroville making it up to 98. Some daily afternoon splash and dash showers possible Thursday all the way through the weekend. And we'll also just trim off a few degrees from the high temperatures as well.
All right, thanks, Adam. That does it for the Night Beat. Don't forget, Good Morning San Antonio starts at 4:30. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.